Hi, welcome back to another video from Adi Files. My name is Adil Ilyas, and in this video I'm going to talk about CV and resume. So first of all, I'll talk about the importance of a CV and resume. Then I will give you some tips on making a good CV, and then I will talk about different sections which should normally be included on a CV and resume, and I will do this with the help of a sample so that you can understand them better, and then you can make a CV that stands out, that gets noticed, and that increases your chances of landing that dream job or securing that admission or scholarship at your favorite university. Before we move on, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to Adi Files and check out other videos on study abroad. When you apply somewhere, let's say a study program at a university or a job position at a company, normally your CV is your first impression and it matters a lot. So let's say readers from admission committee of a university or human resources department of a company take only a few seconds to go through your CV or resume. Your job is to make sure that regardless of the time they take to go through your CV or resume, you make it in such a way that they are convinced to go through your application documents in more detail. You might be asking yourself, should I make a CV or a resume? Well, by the end of the day, it's a document that includes your contact information, your academic background, your work experiences, or any additional skills which are relevant to this job position or study program you're applying for. And my suggestion is to go with the document, CV or resume, which is normally required from that company or university where you're applying. So there is no hard and fast rule, but generally speaking, if you apply in the USA, then normally they ask for a resume, especially when you apply for a job. If you apply at a university, they might ask for a CV. And if you apply outside of USA, so let's say in Europe or some other place, then most of the times they ask for a CV. A resume is normally 1 page long, and it either contains a summary of, let's say, your profile, or it contains the most relevant information. On the other side, a CV is a document which contains a bit more detailed information, and normally it's 2 pages long. So next, I'll talk about 7 tips, or let's say points, that you should keep in mind before making a CV or a resume. Number 1, detailed versus tailored CV. Well, as the name says, a detailed CV includes more or less everything you have done in your life, and a tailored CV is something which is tailored to the position where you're applying. So it includes only the most relevant information. It's your decision by the end of the day. If you think you have a lot of information, then it might be a good idea to make a tailored CV so that you only include the most relevant information. Number 2, simple or stylish CV. Well, I have seen most of the times when students apply for some positions such as mechanical engineering, they use a rather simple CV, which means black and white, plain text, that's it. Whereas when they apply for some positions related to design or marketing, then they use multiple colors, they use some bars or stars to highlight their skills. So again, it's your call, but I would say try to make it slightly different in order to stand out, but don't go on the other extreme. Number 3, layout. You should be consistent with your layout through your CV. That means once you decide on a font, you should use the same font throughout your CV, as well as the same font size for your body as well as your headings. Well, I would say use a rather simple font such as Arial, Calibri, Times New Roman, and you can use 11 to 12 points for your body text, whereas 14 to 16 points for your headings. Number 4, spell check. Make sure that your CV doesn't have any kind of grammatical mistakes or any spelling mistakes. So use a good spell checker, as well as get your CV reviewed from someone. They might actually see some mistakes which you might have overlooked. Number 5, action verbs. It's always a good idea to use action verbs in your CV or resume. So for example, you want to highlight the point teamwork. So instead of simply writing teamwork somewhere on your CV or resume, use the verbs such as coordinated, which show that you coordinated with other people to work on a problem. So through these action verbs, you can actually convey those personality traits. Number 6, keywords. Did you know that some companies or universities might be using some softwares to scan your CV or resume? Well, mostly they scan it for the keywords. So make sure you do your homework and you know what kind of keywords are important for that position where you're applying, and then try to include those keywords to be on the safe side in your CV or resume. Last but not least, number 7, keep it simple. Well, don't overwhelm your readers with a lot of information. The key here is to convey more with fewer words. So, what should be included in a CV or resume? Now, I will talk about different sections of a CV or resume. What kind of information, for example, should be included under these different sections. And I will do this with the help of a sample so that you can understand things in a better way. So let's go through this sample and see different sections of a CV. First of all, we have the personal information. You would add information such as your name, address, email address, phone number here. And if you're applying to a country where they normally add a photo to their CV, you can add it on the top right here. And the next we have educational background. Now, some people might say, should they add the educational background first or the work experience first, which in this sample I have here after the educational background? Well, it depends upon how relevant these sections are. If you're applying to a study program, then the educational background might be more relevant. If you're applying for a job position, your work experience might be more relevant. And then you might want to mention your work experience first and then the educational background. But whatever the case is, let's say you add your educational background first, then here on the left side, we have the time period. So normally in reverse chronological order, that means the most recent qualification will be at the very beginning. And here we have the university name, we have the degree, for example, MSc in mechanical engineering, we have the relevant projects or courses, then we have the thesis or final year project, then we have the final or average grade. And it's a good idea normally to convert your grade also to the grading system of the country where you're applying, but also mention the grade in the original grading system of your country. This will give the persons who are going through your CV a better understanding of your grade. And some people might ask, should I really add my grade to the CV? Well, if you have good grade, then you should definitely add it. If your grade is not that good, then by the end of the day, it's your call if you want to add it or not. So then we have some more qualifications here. You might want to add your high school depending upon how relevant it is. And then we have some relevant certificates which you can add here. So next we have the work experience. Again, on the left side, we have the time period, then we have the company and location, we have the job title, and then we have the job description or responsibilities. Now, instead of writing paragraphs or sentences here, you should normally add only bullet points here, 3 to 5 bullet points, let's say. And instead of simply mentioning what you did there, you should concentrate more on the value your role brought to the company or what you gained through this experience, like any kind of skills or personality traits. And then if you have any further work experience, you can add it here. So next we have the interests or social commitment and hobbies. So you can add your interests here, for example, let's say blogging, or if you're a motivational speaker or whatsoever. And then we have the hobbies. Now, if you want to add your hobbies or not, this is again your call. I personally would add it because this gives the viewers a better understanding of you as a person, like what you like to do in your free time and all. And next we have awards and scholarships. So again, we have the time period, we have the name of the award and a brief description like what is this award about, And then we have the additional skills. We have the software skills, the language skills. So you would write the name of the softwares and then your competence. If you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced user, the same thing for the languages. Now the tip here is instead of writing 10 to 15 softwares, which I have seen many times in CVs, just add the most relevant ones, because no one really wants to go through 15 softwares to see if you know the ones which they need. So just add the most relevant here, please. And then next we have publications. This could be any publications, research papers, conference papers, whatsoever, if you have any. Then in the very end, we have references. Now you can either say references will be provided if needed, or you can add actually the name of your referee, their job title, their university or company, and of course the contact information such as email address and phone number. And before you add them as a referee in your CV or resume, you should actually, ask these people if they are fine with it if you add them as a referee to your CV or to your resume. So yeah, these are different sections of a CV or resume. Of course, you can add or remove some sections depending upon your needs. You can also move them around, more important ones on the first page, less important ones on the second page. Some people also just make a one-page CV, and resume is normally just one page. So some people also, take 2/3 of the page on the right side to add information such as educational background, work experience, and all, and they would use 1/3 of the page on the left side to add the additional information like software skills and awards and references and all. So then they just put everything in one page. By the end of the day, it's your call if you want to keep it simple or make it more stylish. Just do it as it suits your needs. I hope I could give you an overview on how to make a good CV and resume. If you need the template that I used as a sample in this video, or if you need further information or any assistance on making a good CV, go to the website adifiles.com, where you will find information not only on this topic, but many other topics related to study abroad. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you have any suggestions or questions, mention them in the comments below and subscribe to Adi Files. Have a good day.